Are we on?
I think we're on. I think, okay.
Oh, yes, we are. Yes, we are. Okay. Um,
Hallelujah.
Hooray! Um, so hi, everybody. Oh, I got tickled. I get really red when I get tickled. Um, we are here and this is working. Um, there we go. Whoops, sorry. I gotta turn my phone down. Um, Hello, everyone. I'm on my couch. Sherry is on hers. So she's at home in Jersey. I'm at home in Denver. I could not travel this month to do this in person for reasons I will actually be able to tell you tomorrow. Sherry already knows, but I get to make it public tomorrow, and that's fun. So it's our monthly Q&A here with Sherry and Evenflo. It's our first one of 2017.
Unbelievable. Oh, hold on, I'm turning my volume down. Yeah, I can't believe this is our first one, and I'm so happy that we got to do it, and we didn't even have to travel. And we didn't work anyway.
Well, we can build bridges with this. It's so good.
I got this working. I feel like I could.
And like once we start using this more, we can enable the feature where people can actually get on their phones and talk to us as the pop-up.
Yeah, that's going to be really fun.
Yeah, I think that'd be cool. Oh, cheers.
Cheers, my friend.
Boom. So we're here. We have taken some questions. There's a ton on Facebook. Y'all all know who I am because you follow my page. Sherry,
yes.
Introduce yourself to the people.
Oh, okay. Well, hi, everybody. It's so good to see you again. So many of you I know, and then I know there's so many people who I have not met yet. So it's my honor to do this with Jamie, one of my best friends in the entire world. Every single month to be able to bring this great information to you. Just a little bit of my background. I've been working with moms and babies for over 25 years as a labor and delivery nurse, a nurse midwife. I delivered over 600 babies, and I'm in IBCLC. And I've also been doing a lot of this broadcasting for quite a while. It's actually how Jamie and I met many years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And just really excited to be able to have us back together. This is our third year doing this with Evenflo Feeding. And I have to say, it's like the highlight of my month, Jamie, just to be
awesome.
It's great. It's so great. And I think that when we look at like everybody who's logged on to and all the hearts and the love and the questions, and, you know, we've had so many messages from so many of you guys saying, like, this has actually helped me to breastfeed successfully. And that is our goal, to do this with you. So
just information is good. And a lady actually commented on my Facebook earlier today, and she tagged a friend so that they would follow this tonight. Yeah. And she was like, you have to follow Jamie because he only works with like the top people who are on top of it. Yeah. You know, and I take it very seriously. Yeah. You know, like I understand I have this platform, and sure, I'm crazy on it and I post random crap, but it's like when it comes to information like this, like I take it very seriously who I connect with and information I present. So I just get excited about this.
Well, I appreciate that. So I feel honored that I get to do that. You know who just walked over because he heard your voice?
Lucky.
Yeah, like literally.
You want my foot?
It's so cold here that Lucky's wearing a little vest, Jamie. He's got a vest on just for you tonight.
For those of you who have not tuned in, whenever I am at Sherry's house, Lucky has this weird obsession with my foot.
Totally weird. He doesn't.
And with no one else's feet, but Lucky just humps my foot.
He's looking at you.
Hi, Lucky.
Who's that? Who's
Oh
that?
my
Maybe you need to show
God.
him your foot instead of your face, Jamie.
I'll send him like a picture of my feet. Um, all right. Um, we also have a really fun announcement
Yeah.
that we can make tonight. Do we want to do it now?
Yeah, why not?
All right. So you see behind me. Oh, I've got this little gay pride target dog. Elise from Evenflo, when they came here in December for the Q&A, Elise brought this to me because she had some very exciting news. And we've known this is like going on. We've had to be very quiet about it because that's how the world works.
Mhm.
But the Evenflo Deluxe, their pump is now available at Target,
Yeah.
which is awesome because I love Target. I love to go to the Target. I know all the moms love a Target. And now they have the Evenflo pump. They're electric. So it's
It's awesome.
wonderful, wonderful news just to have a quality pump accessible in a mass market retail environment like that. And the retail price is like, you can't beat it. So
It's really awesome. It makes me so happy to know that it's really like available pretty much everywhere you want to get this pump, like almost everywhere now, and in Canada too. And
yeah,
for most of you guys have been watching us, you've heard us talk about the pump. That is why we're here tonight, because of Evenflo Feeding. And it is a company that just makes such quality products, and I've been involved in helping to design this pump, and so I really, really love it because I had a part in how it was created, along with like the most amazing team of people I could ever work with. So just love it. We're going to go over some of that a little bit later. We have a ton of breastfeeding questions and pumping questions, I'm sure, as always.
dude, I'm actually like getting on my iPad because it's like I have three screens going right now because on my computer that I'm broadcasting from, I don't have Facebook open because we can't do that.
Yeah.
I have Facebook on my phone.
Yeah.
So I can watch like interactions and whatever, and my questions are on my iPad.
Yeah.
So I'm a little scattered. So just work with me. I'm very good at the multitasking.
On you to read them. I'm going to focus on answering, and I have my phone set up on a little tripod here, so because I love to see your comments.
I love the hearts.
I love the hearts. Like everybody who knows me knows, like the hearts like really invigorate me. Like,
yeah. And for 2017, we're going to say from here on out. Am I pitting?
No,
okay. From here on out, if I'm going to do like what you do on your page.
Yeah.
When we ask a question and we answer it, shower us with hearts.
Absolutely. That's our rule. On my page, when we do our Q&As, it's a rule. We answer a question, we give love to everybody because that's what this is. This is how we let love flow, huh, Jamie?
It is true. You let love flow with that heart.
That's right.
Because I know a lot of people are not comfortable talking about their breastfeeding issues and stuff in a public forum like this. So it's just one other way to back them up, you know?
That's for sure.
So here we go.
Everybody always wants to know what I'm drinking. This is not wine. I save that for after because I'm just, I'll get silly and stupid. So we need my question.
That's my job.
What?
My job is silly and stupid.
You do silly and stupid. I'll drink my mango drink, but I do love drinking it in a wine glass because it does make me feel, there's something about it that
you feel elegant.
It changes the whole thing. So
I am having Pinot Noir, the Pinot by Titus. My friend Titus is Titus on Kimmy Schmidt. And I know many of you know Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt. I love it so very much. So after that Pinot Noir song went so crazy viral, he worked with a vineyard to make his own Pinots. So I support my friend.
Fantastic.
By drinking his wine.
And I've got my bottle here.
All All right. I have to log back in here. Here we go. We got a question. Michelle, she is due in 3 weeks, and she wants to know when I should start pumping to start a stash for when I return to work, and when is the best time to introduce a bottle without negatively affecting our breastfeeding time. I don't want my child to head to daycare having a huge aversion to a bottle, but I don't want to lose our breastfeeding either. And this question comes up every week, so I think it always just bears repeating.
Yeah. And it comes up every week because, especially here in the United States, I mean, most of us are working and breastfeeding. And so pumping is part of the process for so many of us to be able to continue long-term breastfeeding. So the questions are awesome. It's actually a really awesome question because the two things that people want to know are like, when do I start building up that stash, and how soon can I introduce without interfering with breastfeeding? Let's start with the second question first. So, when to start a bottle. And, you'll hear different experts giving you different advice about this. Some things that you'll read will say, wait 4 to 6 weeks minimum before introducing your baby to a bottle because it can interfere and give them nipple confusion where they won't go back to the breast. I find that to be too long of a wait for a lot of people. That's not to say that babies can wait 6 weeks and they'll still take the breast and the bottle. But for many of them, I'd say 50% of the ones that I saw in my practice, it was just too long to wait and too much of a risk to take, because if you're going back to work, you need to know and have confidence that your baby's going to take a bottle when they're not with you. And for a lot of moms, they're going back before 6 weeks. So that's not even like an option. They're doing it. I would say in my breastfeeding class, I have online classes actually that are included with the pump. And in my Simply Breastfeeding class, I talk about introducing the bottle as early as 1 week after delivery. That being said, that means that everything's going well with breastfeeding. Your latch, Lucky's like yelling for you, Jamie. All right, Joe. He's like, I hear his voice. I do not see the feet. All right. So, anywhere from 1 to 2 weeks is a good time to start introducing your breastfed baby to a bottle, as long as everything's going fine, as long as your baby's latching, your milk has come in, there's no issues at all, you're not dealing with sore nipples or milk, any kind of issues. If you're having any issues, it's time to see a lactation consultant, not to introduce a bottle. But if your baby's doing well, you could start that early introduction. And when I talk about introduction, it's not like full feedings. We're talking about small amounts, like half an ounce in a bottle, given 1 time a day, and then you're finishing the feeding at the breast. So it's not to really like supplement a feeding or skip a breastfeeding. It's to give, in addition to the breast, to get the baby to accept the nipple into their mouth and go back and forth between the breast and the bottle. And they're very capable of doing that. Breastfed babies can breastfeed and bottle feed and do both very effectively. So early, to me, is better. Now, when you do that, and this happens all the time, is that moms will say, well, I did that, and then, they did it fine, so I just didn't do it for another 3 weeks until I was ready to go back. If you let time go by, they may reject it. So it's kind of a routine you want to get into. Maybe have dad feed the baby, little half an ounce in the bottle once a day. Sometimes like early evening is a good time. Your milk supply is a little lower, and then finish at the breast. So that's the first part of the question. The second part of the question was, when should she start to build up a stash for going back to work? You really don't want to do that in the early weeks, okay? So even though it can be tempting because you'll be experiencing some of your engorgement, your breast may be fuller. If you start pumping too soon, you can actually create issues with oversupply. So the way to do it is to really calculate how much milk. You don't need a ton of milk. You're not pumping all your milk for when you go back to work to have available for back to work. You're going to be pumping every day while you're at work. So basically all you need is enough for that first day back and a little bit of an extra stash in the freezer, okay? So that can be done by just calculating how much you need and pumping maybe a little bit of extra every day. I don't recommend more than one extra feeding in addition to what you're breastfeeding at the breast each day. And I just saw somebody say, wow, that they're surprised that I'm telling moms to start pumping, you know, to start using a bottle and pumping as early as 1 week. Remember, what I'm saying here is not start pumping your breast and bottle feeding at 1 week. I'm saying as early as 1 week for babies who are very good breastfeeders where everything's going well, you can do it as early as a week. But anywhere from like 1 to 3 weeks would be the norm. Beyond the 3 weeks, you run the risk of the baby rejecting the bottle.
Yeah.
So,
What I find interesting, because this is my job and I read things and watch things constantly, is I'm actually seeing IBCLCs now recommending bottles earlier.
absolutely.
It's not that 4 week, 5 week mark, whatever. They're all pushing towards earlier introduction.
Because we know that babies develop nipple preferences, and if you wait beyond 3 weeks, like for example, my second child, my kids were with me when I was breastfeeding. I was lucky. I had opened my own midwifery practice. I had a nursery set up there. They were with me. I was breastfeeding. But with my second daughter, I waited 3 weeks to introduce her to a bottle. It was just hitting 3 weeks, and she never took a bottle. I mean, I tried every bottle there was, and that kid loved to nurse, came out like a great nurser, and never took a bottle. And it was from that experience and that of many of my clients, watching them really struggle. And I don't really see that nipple confusion that people talk about when you have a good nurser. And everything's going fine. That little half an ounce once a day really does not create issues. That's been my experience. And you'll see that most of the stuff that I recommend, people who follow me and listen to me all these years, they know that most of what I'm recommending, I'm not getting from the breastfeeding books out there. You know, when you've seen as many people as I have, and you've worked in this industry, or you've worked with moms for this long, a lot of what I'm offering you is from my experience with thousands of moms, seeing it firsthand. So it may be different than what you read.
Awesome. Speaking of good nurser, this is interesting because this has never come up in our Q&As. It involves, lip and tongue tie, but not. Oh, we need to give hearts. Give a bunch of hearts for that last question. And that was Michelle's question.
Yay, Michelle. Thank you, Michelle. Good luck to you. Go back to work.
Morgan has a question. My 2-month-old has a problem with curling her top lip in when she nurses. Mm-hmm. She's been checked by 2 different IBCLCs, and they say she doesn't have a lip or a tongue tie. Mm-hmm. It causes her to have a shallow latch, which sometimes, not all the time, causes me to have very irritated and raw nipples. Is there anything I can do to help correct her latch?
Yeah, as long as you've really been evaluated, which it sounds like you have, to make sure that it's not a lip tie. It could be more about positioning at the breast, so it's more about technique possibly than about any kind of structural issue with the mouth. And I would say that one of the things to do, how old is the baby, Jamie?
2 months.
2 months. Okay. So one of the things to do is, first of all, when you latch the baby, go ahead and pull the lip up. You can kind of tug on the upper lip and tug on the lower lip. You don't have to take the baby off to relatch again. You can get them to get into that fish lip position by, using your thumb, using your finger to kind of move the lip upward and out and flanged. The other thing that'll work is holding the baby a little closer. Sometimes when you're just not, and this is very common that, moms will hold the baby just a little too far away from the breast. Babies are kind of hanging off the nipple in a way, because I think, people are just afraid that they're going to suffocate the baby, which if you have the right positioning and the baby is leading with their chin in an angled position, you can really, I get it. Yeah. Can you hear it?
What?
I'm getting feedback. Can you hear it?
You were cutting out a little bit, but I wasn't getting any feedback.
Okay.
You're good.
Okay. So if the baby's eating with their chin forward like this and their head angled, you can really press their whole face into your breast, and that's going to get their mouth wide open and
Do you have your phone volume down?
I do, but I'm still getting feedback. I don't know why.
I heard it then.
And I don't have any volume on. It's like, you hear it, Joe? Hold on.
On Facebook, everyone is saying they hear feedback.
There's an echo. I have my phone all the way off. All right, I'm gonna
turn the volume completely down on your computer.
Okay.
But then you won't be able to hear me.
I can't hear you. I don't know what to say. I don't have anything else. There's an echo.
Can you mute both of you?
Okay, I'm gonna try. Can you hear me now?
I talked for a little bit.
If I press down, but I'm still hearing an echo.
You are? I think you muted yourself.
I wonder if I jump off and jump back on if the
I don't know.
I'd be afraid to do that.
New technology.
Okay, you are watching it here first live.
Did you mute both of you?
No. We'll try.
Tell me you're gonna mute.
All right, Jamie, I'm gonna mute both of you for a second. Okay. Did that help? No. I have nothing else on. And it's definitely coming from the computer.
Yeah, it's coming from you.
Two of me. How scary. I'm going to try headphones.
Okay. Oh, that might help.
Yeah, he's getting me headphones, so maybe that'll help. Oh, wait, it sounds like it's... No, it's bad. It's still there. All right, everybody. Just everybody hang on.
No,
Is Joe's computer on?
that's what you're using.
I didn't know if there was another computer.
Okay. It's still doing it, isn't it?
I don't hear it, so.
I do. Okay, now what if I was to... I won't be able to hear him. I can hear myself. That's going to be really hard.
Okay, somebody just posted a link. I'm going to go click this real quick.
So him to jump out and jump back in?
Yes.
It doesn't close the session.
Jamie.
Oh, isn't this fun?
If you jump out, I don't hear it. Do you hear me?
I hear you fine.
Now I don't hear anything, Joe. Yeah, it's like not even. You can hear me, but I can't hear him.
Well, let's just shut it down, and then we'll come back.
I can't hear you.
You can't hear me?
Can you scroll down further?
That's it.
They say they hear it.
Built-in output.
Can you hear me now?
I can.
I can't hear you.
Really?
Shoot.
Did you unplug the microphone, the earphones?
No, this is it here. Logitech, right? I don't know what to do.
Shut it down and come back.
Right. Absolutely.
We're gonna shut this down and we're gonna come back.
Now I can't see Jamie. It's all black.
You want to type something to you or not?
Hmm?
You want me to type if the screen, did it cancel the screen?
I don't know what happened. I think I'm on, but I don't think Jamie's on now. Jamie has to leave and get back on now. Echo is gone. Can you guys see me? You guys can see me, but I can't see Jamie. So Jamie has to log out and then log back in again. Okay, he just logged out. Okay, I don't know what that was. Sorry, guys. So the echo's gone. You know when you're like, you could hear yourself, you cannot even think. That's what happened to me. I was trying to talk and all I heard was the echo and I thought it was just me, but it was all of us. Okay.
Am I back?
I think we're good.
Hooray!
I can't hear you. No, I can't hear you.
You can't?
No. Joe, I can't hear him.
Did you leave? Did you shut your window down?
Yeah.
I don't see him on the screen.
All right, give me the headphones again. Let's try the headphone. We're going to try the headphones again.
Technology.
Hey, this is our first time, right?
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
I hear you completely fine. They can hear us both.
I don't even know if you can hear me.
I was hearing you fine.
You can hear me?
Can you hear me?
Now I can.
Okay.
Okay, I think
Great.
we got it.
Great.
I think plugging in the headphone changed some setting for my audio, but
Yeah.
logging back out and logging back in got rid of the echo. So
Great.
now we're good.
Game
Yay!
on.
We did it. Hearts. We need hearts.
What a struggle.
What a struggle. That's for sure. Oh my God. Okay. Awesome.
So we were talking about the 2-month-old and like getting the latch,
Yeah.
the lips open. So do you think, aside from, keeping the baby closer and doing that, would this be something that a bottle would be able to help with as well? As long as like it's opening the latch up and whatever, as long as they're getting a good latch on a bottle to help with that?
It's possible. It's possible that the bottle could train, that you could use it for training purposes depending on the bottle.
Mhm.
I know that the New Balance bottle with Evenflo Feeding has a nipple that you demonstrated the other day that was really cool. And that's dedication. But it helps to allow for there to be a shell for the lips to wrap onto, so you could train that way, but it's not typically what I've done in my practice. Mostly what I would say is to latch the baby on, come with a wider mouth, lead with the bottom jaw first and then the upper jaw, and then if the lip rolls in, it's more about like helping the baby to get that lip up and holding the baby closer to keep it in place. If the sucking motion of nursing itself can suck those lips inward if the baby's not latched to the breast on a deep latch. So sometimes that shallow latch itself, their lips start to suck in, and you'll feel it because it kind of pinches. It's not that uncommon, actually.
I'm nodding as if I understand it. I'm like, yes, I know.
I know, but
it does pinch.
It's great to be like agreed with, so that's fine. I don't mind you doing.
Okay. Alexis, had my baby girl 2 weeks ago, and my left breast seems to be my dominant breast producing the most, and it feels comfortable feeding her on that side. But when I feed her on my right side, it pinches, and I pull her chin down and I do my best to get the best latch possible, but it still pinches, and she doesn't seem to be getting as much milk from that breast. So my question is, how do I build up my milk supply on my right breast, and any pointers to make it so it doesn't pinch?
Again, this probably has more to do with a latch than anything else. So it's positioning and latch. If the pinching and the pain is occurring on both breasts, then you always want to take a look at, make sure that, and get the baby evaluated for any kind of tongue ties, lip ties, structural issues with their mouth. But if it's only happening on the one side, it's probably, there's a good chance that it has to do with the way you're positioning at that breast. And if you're not positioning well, then that could decrease the milk supply on that side. Now, most moms have an uneven amount of milk that they make on one breast over the other. So that's not an unusual thing. But if you're having pain on one side and that's the side that's making less, it could be that you're creating that issue by not emptying and draining the breast effectively. On the other hand, if you'll have people who say, my producer is the one that I'm actually having more pain on, and that could be from the nipple stretching and the baby latching directly to the tip of the nipple because the breast is so full. So you can have it on either side. So, I'm answering this question for more than her, but if the baby is latching to the side that is hurting and that's the side you're making less, I would look at positioning first and get some support with your positioning and latch, because you don't want to be decreasing your supply on that side. It's unusual to have like one side pinching and the other side not, and there be a structural issue in the baby's mouth.
Interesting.
So probably think about it when we're, not only do we have one dominant breast where you can have making more milk on one side and less on the other, but you're also dominated with your positioning, because if you're right-handed or you're left-handed, you think you're latching the same way, but you're not necessarily latching the same way. And so, look at that, because it could be that you're not holding the baby as close. It could be that the baby, I'll see moms do this often, and I've got a baby right here, so I'll show you what I'm talking about. But often I'll see moms kind of bringing their breast to the baby versus bringing the baby to their breast, where the breast is in a relaxed position. The baby's brought higher up to the breast versus the baby's down here, and you're kind of doing this where you're bringing the baby to the breast. Or bringing the breast to the baby. So those are the small little things that sometimes we can't see that we're doing ourselves till somebody with experience can look at and say, hey, this is it's just like such a minor little correction can make such a difference.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes when I'm watching moms breastfeed, it literally, the difference between like there being pain and no pain is that when the baby's coming to the breast, when they're coming straight on, you could be feeling pain. Just a little bit of an angle of the head, all of the pain is gone. And that has to do with how the baby's latching, how deep of a latch they get, leading with their lower jaw instead of their upper jaw and their hard palate. This will just get a deeper latch. And like you always say, right? We're not nipple feeding.
It's not nipple feeding. I was going to say another joke.
Go for it.
Whenever it comes up about, one breast being the dominant producer, whatever, symmetry does not exist, and that's also true for us men.
Yeah.
There's always one testicle that's a little larger than the other.
Oh, I just had a terrible thought of something you told me about.
It's the same, So one is a little more active.
We are not symmetrical. We are not symmetrical.
No. I think the only person with a symmetrical face is Denzel Washington. So this is actually a really good question.
We need hearts for that one.
Yeah, we need hearts. We need hearts for ball jokes on Facebook.
Hearts, laughs.
Hearts, whatever.
Like.
So Brooke I exclusively pump and have always wondered if you need to do anything special for your milk to change to fit baby's needs. Do you need to latch baby, or is it everyday contact like kisses and cuddles?
Good question.
That is a really good question.
It's a really good question, because what she's tapping into there is the idea that, not only are we looking, when we're talking about breastfeeding and supply and demand, not only are we talking about how much are we expressing to maintain an adequate supply in volume for the baby, but what we're also, need to pay attention to is the fact that our milk is constantly changing to adapt to the baby's needs. What that means is your milk, your body, okay, can pick up the bacteria that your baby is actually maybe exposed to. And so you want to you want to do a lot of skin to skin with your baby. You want to colonize your baby with your own bacteria, and at the same time, get whatever bacteria your baby's carrying onto you, because your body will start to create antibodies in the milk that you're producing for your baby. So bottom line, the more physical contact with your baby, the better. And I say this to anybody whether they're exclusively pumping and bottle feeding or formula feeding. Okay, so it's anybody. It's very, it's easier to hand the baby over to someone else to feed when the baby is receiving a bottle, and that there's nothing wrong with that, to have other people feeding the baby. But the baby needs to be held close to you frequently throughout the day. Breastfeeding is designed that way, to be held skin to skin with your baby. You have to disrobe. Your baby is held to your skin. It is just nature's way of ensuring that you are going to colonize that baby, and that baby is going to colonize you. And we know more about bacteria and all the important effects of that and their long-term and short-term health that's going on besides just the milk exchange. So it's a great question. And I think that if you're exclusively pumping and bottle feeding or formula feeding, pay very close attention to making sure that you're holding your baby to your skin, even taking off your top and just getting close.
Very good.
Baby needs that.
Yeah, I think that's what was one of these Q&As we did. It was last year, but you'd mentioned that now, they're starting to realize that, like you mentioned, it's like the babies, if they're sick or whatever, when they're latched on, it does that weird shift where the breast will produce the stuff to fight everything. Yeah. And I think that's so.
Well, it makes sense, right? It makes so much sense. And I mean, they're taking it even a step further. We're looking at the microbiome of our whole body, the bacteria colonization that happens in a baby, starting in utero, okay? And then for the delivery process, the baby is, when a baby's born vaginally, they're completely covered in your bacteria. Yeah. I hate to say it, but think about it. Where that baby comes out is very close to the rectum. All these things it's colonizing the baby with your intestinal bacteria, which the baby needs for health, for long-term health. And that skin to skin, and then breastfeeding, all those things together are going to work to keep on giving the baby all that important protective bacteria. Our bodies are loaded with bacteria. That's what protects us from disease now and in the future. So, they've talked about, even now, they've been doing some studies across the world where they're even doing vaginal swabbing of babies that are born by C-section.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Right? Very interesting, where they're actually swabbing the babies down after the birth by C-section, because those babies, think about it, are born into a sterile environment and may not be colonized the same way. And how is that affecting them? If you didn't do that and you had a C-section, don't stress, okay? But again, as much skin to skin as possible. Kiss your baby all over its body, just like literally, be as close to that baby as you can. And especially babies that are in daycare settings, okay? I don't think we've ever talked about this, but babies that are, not with you all the time, that are in maybe going to a daycare setting where there are other bacteria that you're not finding in your house. Okay. Remember, you're not getting exposed to whatever those germs are that the baby is being exposed to. You need to expose yourself to that daycare center, like sit down and nurse there, touch things, expose yourself to the environment that your baby is being exposed to. So your body starts to create antibodies specific, okay, for
Because
whatever.
we know the kids get sick at a daycare.
Exactly. And you want to have those protective antibodies in your milk to keep your baby healthy. The only way to do that is to expose yourself as well.
That's really interesting. Okay, Esther has a question. Any tips for trying breastfeeding again with your second child when you failed with your first? With my first, she had terrible weight gain issues, and I ended up stopping at around 3 months because I couldn't handle the stress of not knowing how much she had eaten. I want to be less stressed this time, but I am so worried we won't be successful again.
Mm-hmm. Well, first of all, Esther, right? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Esther, you didn't fail. Okay. Unfortunately, you may not have had the right support and encouragement and someone to work with to keep you going. And I say that, like, are there babies that have true weight gain issues? Yes, there are babies that truly do have weight gain issues.
This one did. This
one did. Okay,
yeah,
this one did.
I just left some of the comment out.
Okay.
But, yeah.
Okay. Well, I guess the thing to remember, and this comes up whenever we're talking about a second pregnancy, a second delivery, a second mothering experience, a second breastfeeding experience, you cannot help but be comparing it to the first, good and bad. So if it's not, you had a great pregnancy and this time you're not feeling great, you're going, what's wrong? When actually it's just normal, it's just different. It's very hard to go into your second baby and not want to compare to what happened the first time. That's not to say that we don't look at what happened in our previous experiences and we learn from them and we understand where, we could maybe things may have been gone off the wrong direction, or you are struggling with some hormonal issue or insufficient glandular tissue, whatever the issue was that had you make less milk. That could be at play, but it also could be a completely different experience. One of the things that beyond like a structural issue with your breast where you may not make enough glandular tissue or a hormonal issue, one of the things that can cause delayed milk, milk not coming in or not fully getting your full supply is delayed feedings right after the delivery. So those early days, those first few days, it's extremely important to be putting the baby to the breast frequently for short feedings, but as often as possible. The baby's not getting a ton of milk, and I have examples here of how much the baby actually eats in colostrum. Let's show that one, right? So this bottle right here is actually showing you the small amounts that a baby eats, okay, like on day 1, day 2 after birth, okay? Very small amounts. Now, is it volume? Is this what's going to help the baby to gain weight? No. But if the baby's not brought to the breast frequently, you're not building up those prolactin receptor sites in the breast that then help to make milk throughout the whole breastfeeding experience. And that could interfere with your inadequate milk supply.
I think that's also, I know you see it, I see it, and it's like, I don't think there's enough education as to how much a baby actually eats in the beginning. If you're like, oh, your baby's not getting enough milk, whatever, they're not getting enough. And then, they start the supplementing with formula, and formula is not the devil. Like, it is a very good tool for people who need it, and it's for people who choose to use it, like whatever. But when these moms, they're tired and they're, everything's crazy and they have a baby now and they're like, my baby's not getting enough, but it's colostrum. It's not the actual breast milk.
Yes. Yes. It's breast milk, but it's different milk. It's milk made specifically for those early days when the baby's actually not supposed to be taking in large volumes. It's not just that they don't need it, and they shouldn't be taking in large volumes. Babies are born fluid overloaded. They're drinking amniotic fluid in the uterus. They're gulping fluid, and that's why you'll see that even though small amounts are coming from the breast for several days, the baby still continues to pee and poop through that whole time. Why that happens is because they're peeing out all the extra fluids that their kidneys actually can't handle that much fluid. And so we want them to pee. Our bodies are designed to work in a complete balance with the baby. So it's not by accident that it works this way. And it's not only you that's not making the milk, it's everybody that doesn't make milk in those first few days. And it's a perfect example, going back to Esther's question about this is, yes, it was a true weight issue. Yes, it was a true supply issue in this case. But what caused that issue? And it could be very early on weight loss, early supplementation, not realizing that, not putting the baby to breast, separation from the baby where the baby's, not getting the breast frequently enough, then that leads to a cascading effect of possibly not building up receptor sites, and then not getting your full supply in. And then, you really aren't making enough, and it's not her fault.
In this case, the baby had a heart issue that wasn't caught by the nutrition until about a year and a half. So it was different. So it's like.
And the baby could have been very sleepy. The baby could have had a very ineffective suck. So all those things can lead to, and the heart condition itself could cause medical issues and poor weight loss and all that. But see, that's even more of a reason to try to put that aside. If this next baby is not having the same medical issue, which is a kind of a severe issue, you really need to start with a clean slate for yourself. You need to give yourself a clean slate. You need to consider yourself a first-time mom. You need to go into this. Jamie, how many moms have we seen just through what we do say, I wasn't successful with my first 2 children, and now I'm breastfeeding because I got this information?
Yeah, tons.
So many times. Many times. And I've had moms, when I had my store and people would walk into my learning center or my store and they'd say, I really want to breastfeed, but this is my 4th baby. I haven't been able to do any of the ones before this, so I'm not going to take a class because I'm just going to formula feed. And I'd say, well, do you really want to breastfeed? Because maybe there's something I can teach you that you didn't know before. And I can't tell you how many times that has worked out.
And I also, I think what I find upsetting about just the way that this comment is structured is that she considers herself a failure.
Exactly.
She breastfed for 3 months. 3 months is great.
Yeah.
1 day is great. 2 days is great. 3 days is great. You're not a failure because you don't nurse for a year or a year and a half,
No. However long you can do it, however much, and not even if it's not exclusive breastfeeding, it's not all or nothing. If the baby's getting any breast milk at all, they're still getting the benefits of that milk. And so it's not a failure. And Joe and I just had this conversation. Oh my God, I was in one of my moments of just literally, I started to talk. He's like, and I started to cry. And me, it's like when I get really passionate about what I'm talking about, and those moments I have.
I'm right there with you.
Yeah. And I just started to think about how sad it makes me. Okay, I'm a medical professional. I've been in the medical field for 25 years. I did not start off talking about breastfeeding. In fact, I hated talking about breastfeeding. I knew very little. That was the reason I hated talking about it. Can you imagine me? I was the one who would just be like, breastfeeding, and go somewhere else. I honestly don't know enough. I was a midwife. I knew pregnancy. I knew birth for years and years and years. And it literally, there are times where I just want to say, I'm sorry. I actually want to say I'm sorry to all the women that I gave bad advice to for so many years, unintentionally, with all the best intentions in the world to take care of them. But how many babies, I mean, I was bawling talking about this, how many babies may not have been breastfed because I, as a medical professional, never learned what I needed to know to give them the advice they needed to be successful with it. It wasn't their fault. It was
Yeah.
me. It was me, and it was the institution of it. And, so, 15 years ago, 12 years ago now, I decided to change my career and become an IBCLC. It was actually after having my own kids. And of course, I'm trying to make up for all that now. But I'm saying all this because so many of you out there are experiencing this with your pediatricians or the nurses in the hospital or anyone, that you're counting on to give you good information, and they're doing the best they can, although it's not there.
Yeah.
And they don't know it.
And that's, I mean, as
It's
adults, we see specialists based on what is wrong with us. And you should do that with a baby as well. Like you don't go to like a foot doctor if you have a throat issue.
Exactly.
Exactly.
And I'll have clients who come to see me now who they're like conflicted because the advice I'm giving them is different than their pediatrician. And they're like, I don't know who to listen to. This is really confusing. My doctor's telling me this and you're telling me that. And I'll say exactly that to them. If you had cancer, you'd see an oncologist. You wouldn't see your GP.
No.
And then
like when I worked at that birth education center in New York, my favorite thing about working there was the lactation clinics, the breastfeeding clinics that they would do. They did them every day. They would have an IBCLC come in, and women would come in, and we called it like the breastfeeding circle. And there'd be like 10 to 15 moms. Sometimes that's on the higher end. They try to keep it smaller. But the IBCLC would go around, work with every single mother, every one of them. And then when you do it in an environment like that, it's also like you're seeing stuff that you may have not have thought of, and you're getting that. But I loved it because you would see these moms come in and they were so tired and they were just like bawling and they were like, my baby's not nursing and this hurts and it sucks and I'm not sleeping. And they would go into this clinic and then 3 hours later come out and their entire energy had changed.
Right.
And they were just
completely relaxed.
Yeah.
You can see it on their faces. It's a sense of sheer relief because we all want that for our children. We want to be good mothers. Everybody wants to be able to do this. And the relief that you would see coming out of that, it was the same for my clients too. They walk out of a consultation and, sometimes you're just afraid, like, what could you ever teach? This is not going to work. Like there's nothing you're going to be able to show me that's going to make this better. And there's sort of a hopelessness when people get to the point where they're actually going to see someone. Lots of times it's very hopeless. And there's just stuff you don't know.
Yeah. Well, I think breastfeeding is like the perfect example of nature and nurture combined because it's a natural, habit or whatever you want to call it, but it is learned.
Completely.
You have to learn. And I mean, there's the one story, one of the IBCLCs that I worked with used to use about, it was a chimpanzee or an orangutan in a zoo. She was the only one there. She delivered the baby. Instinct did not tell her to pick that baby up and nurse.
Yeah.
So the baby died. So she got pregnant again. The zookeeper had this idea to bring in all these nursing moms. And all these nursing moms would go in front of the windows at the zoo and nurse in front.
Oh, wow.
Delivered, she picked up and nursed,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we learn from examples. We learn from, watching other mothers breastfeed, which is actually one of the reasons why it's so important to have these chats, why it's so important to breastfeed wherever you can, whether it's if you feel comfortable with it, breastfeeding in public, letting other moms see you do that to normalize it more, to show videos of us breastfeeding. We don't get to see this enough, and we do need it because it is how we learn and it's how we, you actually are taking it all in when you see it in front of you. So
We go off on these tangents.
You know what? I told you this was going to be a problem tonight because I'm looking at your face and you just get me in that mood, Jamie. Like, I start to look at you.
I just start talking.
I look at you.
Uh,
See, if I'm looking at you, then I just want to talk and.
Yeah. So let's talk
about the pump.
That's what I was just going to say. We've not even talked about the pump and what it does.
We need to do that.
I'm going to go find a couple more questions. Okay. I say let's go a little bit longer tonight since we had technical issues.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Whatever.
So, we're not leaving. Just hang out.
We're not leaving. We got this gay Target dog. Come on.
Yeah, nowhere to go with that.
I've dated some boys that work at the Target in Minneapolis.
Oh, really?
I will say that's one thing I've always appreciated about Target is they are like equality and
awesome.
They're wonderful. So
awesome. Another reason to love Target.
That and most Targets have a Starbucks inside.
There you go.
The struggle is real. We know the struggle is real.
Gay support, Starbucks, and now the Evenflo pump. What else could you want?
Speaking of that Evenflo pump, why don't you pull it up on the screen for a moment?
Well, first let's talk about it for a second, and then what I'm going to be showing you guys is a really awesome demonstration of one of the best features about the pump. And we talk about this pump every single time because there are features to look for, and not just in the Evenflo Feeding pump, but the features to look for when you're choosing your breast pump. And so many of you guys are getting pumps through your insurance, or you're going to a Target, or you're going out because you're not getting what you need. And that's fine. If you're not getting what you need, make sure you get what you need, even if your insurance is not covering it. Yeah. But there are things to look for when it comes to the pump, and it can be really confusing because there's a lot out there right now. So we always talk about the 3 most important things to look for in a breast pump. And I like to poll the audience because I know in my live chats, my audience already knows what I'm about to say. So let's see how much everybody knows out there. What are some of the 3 things that you want to look for when it comes to choosing the pump for yourself? There's a few really important features that go beyond, how nice is the bag, which this actually is a really nice bag. The bags, the coolers, all those other things. But there are things that you're going to be looking for. I see right now. Okay. Closed systems. Everybody's starting to type that in right now.
So if you know the difference between an open and a closed system. Oh, no, actually, if you do not know the difference between an open and a closed, go ahead and heart it up.
Yeah. Now, I'm going to show you. So dual controls, excellent. Hi, Deneen. Yes. Okay. So here are the 3 things that you're going to look for in any breast pump that you're going to choose. The first thing you're going to look for is multiple flange sizes. Okay. The flange is the part that goes up against your breast where your nipple goes into the hole. These come in different sizes. Okay, and everybody doesn't wear the same size, nor do they necessarily wear the same size on each breast. So you might have one mom with 2 different sizes, one for each side. This pump comes with 3 sizes included, and then there's additional sizes that you can purchase. So there's 6 total sizes that you can get with the Evenflo pump, which means that you're going to be able to fit anybody into it. And it has this nice soft silicone flange too, which is super comfortable, this cushiony silicone. So, some pumps will come with the flanges included, and that's important because you can only tell what size you are by trying it on. And that's hard to do if you're like, got to go buy every size to figure it out. So even though a lot of the pumps do come with other sizes you can purchase, ones that come with the pump is something to look for. Okay, so that's number 1. Second thing is, I'm seeing it here on the screen. I see all Megan and everybody on there. Okay, adjustable speed and suction. And that means that you have 2 different dials, one that can control your speed and one that can control your suction. Elise is texting me.
I just got that too.
It's knocking me off my screen. Okay, hi Elise. And so, if you have two separate speed and suction controls, you will ultimately be able to use your pump more efficiently, get more milk, multiple letdowns.
Multiple letdowns.
Multiple letdowns. That means that the milk continues to express the same way as with the baby, or as close as you can. You're never going to get it the way the baby can, but it will help to drain the breast more efficiently. And then the third thing is that closed system that you were talking about before, Jamie, which is this, okay? And I have a little video that I want to show you, and I hope that this is going to work. I may not be able to talk through this because of the headset. We'll see, okay? But it's going to give you a little demonstration of what it looks like, a side-by-side of a closed system and an open system, so we can see it. So now I'm going to be very technical and try something now. Okay?
Oh, we're going to do this?
Oh, yeah, we're going to do this.
You guys.
Okay, so let's see if I can do this.
So what Blue Jeans allows you to do is you can put photos in and videos while you're doing this and talking.
Uh-huh.
Like
okay.
a PowerPoint.
So are you ready? Here we go. I'm going to try it, okay? Hopefully this doesn't kick me off. So now if I press this, can you hear me, Jamie? This is actually showing you a open and a closed system, and we're about to see it side by side right here, okay? And what it's showing you is that the milk in a closed system can actually get into the tubing because there's no barrier between the milk and the tube itself, versus the one on the left side of the screen, which is the Evenflo pump or a closed system pump, where there's a barrier, little diaphragm, that prevents milk. It prevents the milk from getting. Okay, so now I'm going to go back to this and see how I did. Hopefully.
Awesome.
I did it. Joe's applauding. Look how technical I am. Okay, now I got to fix the screen. Hold on a second.
Some people were having some issues, but some people saw everything fine.
Okay.
So I think it's just trial and error, you know?
Okay. Yeah, no, we'll keep trying to work this out because I think that I think it's good to be able to show some videos. This will turn it into even more of an educational session where we can actually see things like that, things that we're trying to describe, whether it's flange fitting or good proper latch. These are things that we'll
I was just thinking about latch, like to show good latch videos.
Totally. We're going to do that. As we move forward, we will totally do that. And I'm going to keep practicing. You and I are going to practice this offline so that we can get really good at this, right? Some people are saying it worked well for them. Great.
Awesome.
Fantastic. Fantastic. So that's the Evenflo feeding pump. And the other thing that I love about Evenflo Feeding, beyond just amazing people, Lisa's in the chat here, and Lauren, the pump also comes with full education too, and that was super important to me. Working with them was to make sure that moms are not just getting amazing quality products, which they are, but they're also getting education. So both of my full-length breastfeeding classes are included with the pump when you purchase the pump, and even the single electric, the new single electric's coming out, and the single electric.
Yeah, it's awesome.
It is awesome. It is awesome. I don't have a sample yet, but I can't wait. It's an awesome system. It's going to have, and those are for occasional use for moms who are just, occasionally pumping. It's not for full-time working moms, but it's a great pump. And then we also have manual pumps as well, and that also comes with the class. So, yay, yay, yay. Hey, you know what? I wanted to tell you something, Jamie, and last week, remember we've been talking about doing that bra fitting Okay, so last week I did a bra fitting live stream, a full stream on like my top 10 tips for bra fitting. And people have been asking me for the tips. And so I created a little page they can go to get those tips and a little video. So if they're interested, I don't know if
nice.
Joe can post it for us, but if anybody's interested in what, Joe? Oh, he just posted it. Can you pin it? Oh, there it is. I don't know if you can pin something that's. Oh, wait, here. I just did it. Is that okay?
And you pinned it. That's the best thing now is you can pin comments. It's like.
Okay, so listen, guys, if you want like some good advice on how to fit your bras, because I know you're not wearing the right size bras, because everybody was freaking out as I was going through these like top 10 things. And there's a really cool little video that is actually a mom, a pregnant mom, a nursing mom, and they actually are in their bras where you can see it. So
Awesome.
yeah.
Here's something good, and I guess it's pretty relevant to the season right now. Will a nasal spray like Flonase impact my supply like Benadryl or Sudafed? I'm desperate for some kind of relief.
I'm trying to think of what the medication in Flonase is. The main thing that you want to really do is stay away from the decongestants because they can dry up milk, but not for everybody. Honestly, it's not everybody that's going to have milk supply issues with decongestants. You want to stick more to the saline. You want to stick more to like steam.
I live with my.
I know you do. I know you do, and I think
and my steamer.
Yeah, the less the better, really. But you know, if you're really suffering, one of the things that you can do, and especially when it comes to certain specific medications, a couple of rules to keep in mind, depending on the age of your baby. The younger your baby is, the more buildup they'll have of whatever medication you're taking. So as your baby's a little bit older, the amount that's actually going through your milk is so minimal that it's insignificant, okay? Stick to medications that are not multi-medications combined. So you get some of these like Advil, nighttime cold and whatever, and it's got like 4 drugs involved in it. You don't want to do that. Stick to the single medications. Take it in the lowest possible dosages that you can take. Try to stretch it out between, you know, like taking it right after a feeding so that, you know, depending on the half-life, I'm getting into some complicated stuff here, but depending on how long it stays in your system, you know, most medications are completely safe to take while you're breastfeeding. And if you're confused or you're concerned, your doctor may not be the right person to ask because basically they're going to say, no, you can't take anything. And that's really not the answer. It's not a workable answer. You can go to a website called infantrisk.com, and you can talk to someone there. They have a hotline, and they're amazing at helping people to figure out medications that are safe for breastfeeding moms.
Cool.
Okay?
Very good. This is. Oh, go ahead.
Without knowing the exact drug that we're talking about.
Yeah, I don't know what it is.
Yeah, I don't know what's in it either. Or Lactmed, somebody just said. That's true.
Oh yeah, Lactmed.
Thank you, Sarah. Yep.
So Meg Ryan, not of the sleeping in Seattle variety, sleepless in Seattle. If you want to get more supply with pump sessions, should you pump more or less when away from baby? I pump twice while at work. Session 1, I get 7 ounces, then only 3 or 4 ounces second session. Should I increase number of sessions?
Wait, I missed the beginning of it. I'm sorry.
She wants to get more supply with pump sessions. So should you pump more or less when away from baby? She pumps twice at work. Her first session, she gets 7 ounces. Her second, she only gets 3 or 4.
Okay, so this has to do with, so sometimes the question that's being asked is not really the answer that needs to be given. Okay, and this is a perfect example of that. Increasing her production more than 7 ounces in a pumping session is not really necessary. That's about twice as much as what I would expect to see. Now, it depends on how long she's going between those pumping sessions. And if she's going that long that she's getting 7 ounces because of the length of time in between, then I would recommend doing one more session in between that. What will really help to keep your and maintain supply is to pump more frequently, get less out at that feeding, at that pumping, but do it more frequently rather than waiting for the breast to fill up and then get a lot out. You can only do that so long. Now, some people just are oversupplied, and that could be the situation here. When I hear people talk about 7 ounces, all it's doing is making everybody in the chat room going, I don't make 7 ounces. What's wrong with me? There's nothing wrong with you. It's an incredible amount of milk. Not everybody does that, nor does the baby eat 7 ounces at a feeding, or they should not be eating 7 ounces at a feeding. If they are, they're being overfed, most likely. Okay, so the thing to do is to do more frequent feedings. Even if you're only getting 2-3 ounces out, that's fantastic. Okay, that's actually really good. I would expect to, when you're thinking about how much is your baby typically eating, it's somewhere between 1 to 1.5, 1.25 ounces per hour. So if you're talking about a 3-hour stretch, you're talking about 3 to 4 ounces, right, at that feeding. And that does not change. Okay, so that they hit that somewhere around 6 weeks, 8 weeks old, and that does not increase throughout the year. Okay, so the big bottles that you see where you think you need to start filling these bottles up, that's not how much a breastfed baby eats. The volume does not increase, the milk is changing over time, and the baby's not eating more and more.
There we go.
I can show you the bottles here if you want. We did show the little colostrum bottle.
Show the first one. Show the rest.
So we did this one. This is like, the first few days. It's little bits of colostrum. There's actually a lot in here, more than I would expect. But this is about the amount that they're eating per feeding. Okay, it's about a teaspoon at a time. On day 3, okay, and this is coconut milk, so it's kind of thick, so it's sticking to the sides here. But on day 3, we're talking about maybe about a 1/2 ounce per feeding. At day 3, that's just as your milk is starting to transition, and that's how much is coming out of the breast. Now, you're never going to see this because you're just feeding at the breast, but the idea that your baby needs a lot, this is going to put your mind at ease that it's really not a lot, okay? Yeah. And then this here is about 1.5 to 2 ounces, okay? This is what a baby eats, a breastfed baby eats on day 10, around day 10, anywhere from 1.5 to 2 ounces. In a bottle, it just looks like so little, okay? And so when most moms see this, what I'm showing you here, that whole concern and fear and worry that you're not making enough really goes out the window, because you're probably making that just on one side with half the breast being drained, okay? Somebody's asking if there'll be a replay. There's always a replay here.
The video stays on Facebook.
Yeah, so you can share it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can go back and rewatch this whole thing.
Yeah, and I always post it on my page too, and I do these Q&As throughout the month as well. So if there's questions that come in tonight that don't get answered, you can go ahead and post them on my wall. I'm doing
make sure you go like Sherry's page, like follow her.
We're doing a great Q&A with Love to Dream on Wednesday night. It's going to be a whole Calming Your Fussy Baby episode, which is going to be fantastic. It's all like how to, it's the second part to this whole breastfeeding experience, because on top of, one of the issues of not knowing if you're feeding enough is knowing, well, why is my baby crying? Does that mean they're hungry? And it's not always because they're hungry. So I'm going to teach some really great stuff about what to look for, how to calm and soothe a fussy baby, not with necessarily more food. Anyway, cool. This is a bottle with about 4 ounces in it. Okay, that's like a max bottle for a breastfed baby. Okay, yeah. And these are the little 5 ounce, Evenflo Feeding storage containers. Okay, and that's really a full feeding. So
I think there's also, this is another thing where education doesn't come into play, because no one would ever think you need to be educated about bottle sizes. But even when I worked retail, you were like, oh, you've got to get these 9-ounce bottles, you got to get these big bottles, this is this. But you don't understand, a breastfed baby really will never do more than 4. It's a formula fed baby needs more ounces, because the caloric intake in breast milk is always changing. Formula doesn't change.
Right. The same milk.
More calories.
What you're feeding on day one is the same milk that, or the same formula that you're feeding at the, at the end of the year, and so they do need more to take in more volume of it. So that is true, that they'll go up and up and up. And that's something to keep in mind, especially in daycare, where you may be breastfeeding and leaving milk for your baby, and a lot of other babies there are being formula fed. And so these bottles, you're bringing these bottles in and they seem really inadequate. And even the staff could be saying to you, that's not enough. It's really important to educate the people who are taking care of your baby about breast milk, about quantities, about paced feeding, so that we're slowing down the feedings, that we're allowing the baby to control how much the baby's taking in, sitting the baby more upright, not laying them back and pouring it down, but actually allowing them to sit up, not fill the whole nipple so it's like pouring out, and really slowing them down, stopping them frequently, watching their cues, burping them frequently, all those things. Burping. Wednesday night, burping. So, doing all those things, you will see that babies will take in less. And sometimes, because they're actually so overstuffed, they'll cry. They're uncomfortable from eating so much. And then the answer is give them more, because everybody thinks, well, the baby's crying, they must be hungry, right? Especially grandmas. Lots of grandmas do that. People in your family, daycare providers.
Just got this one really quick. It popped up in the live stream because I'm like watching 3 different things. What if you use frozen milk at daycare? Does the earlier milk mean you have to give more since the milk hasn't changed?
Yeah, I would say that you're not saving it for that. I wouldn't be giving milk that's so far back. Okay. You don't really need to. If you're producing good milk, you should be pumping. And it goes back to what we were talking about real early in this Q&A tonight. And there's a whole chapter of this in my breast pumps and briefcases class about, you're pumping enough to get enough milk to go back to that first day of work, right? And you're saving some milk in the freezer. No more. I usually recommend no more than 10 extra feedings in the freezer, just as a backup supply that you intend to eventually replace and get rid of, because you won't need it. Okay, it's an emergency stash. When you're going back to work, what you want to be doing is pumping at work to provide that milk for the next day. So it really shouldn't come into play too much where you're using milk from months and months and months ago on a routine basis, where it would have any effect on your baby at all. If you need to use the milk, it's totally fine. It's an emergency. You do it once in a while, it's fine. But on a regular basis, I would be giving the baby as fresh milk as possible, meaning pumped from the day before at work, you leave for the next day, or frozen from that week, whatever you're doing.
So a couple people have had questions, and that's just, since we're talking about pumping in work and whatever, we had several questions about storage of milk at work or to and from work in the car.
Yeah.
So let's talk about that.
Yeah. So, okay. So, when you're pumping at work, you don't necessarily need to have like a refrigerator. If you have your own little refrigerator in your office, that's great. You can put the milk in the refrigerator. But if you've got like a common area where there's like a refrigerator for everybody and you don't want to leave your breast milk there, that's totally fine. You need a cooler. Okay. Like this one right here. This is a little breast milk cooler. Okay. With frozen ice packs. Okay. All you need to do is freeze your ice packs the night before. The milk is good for a good 24 hours in a cooler with ice packs. So, and that's more than enough to be able to pump and bring the milk back home. You will need to keep it in that frozen cooler during the day while you're waiting, and especially for the ride back home. when you pump, this brings up the point of, do you need to wash your parts throughout the day? You know, the parts we're talking about are the flanges and the membranes and the valves, all these things. Okay, so you're gonna pump into this, and then you'll put the little lid on here, and then you're gonna go ahead and put that into your cooler. But what about these parts? Do you need to go into the bathroom or into the kitchen and rinse these and wash these between each feeding? The answer is no. Take this part, okay, remove it from the tubing and stick this into the cooler, because any milk that's on here, I mean, you could wipe it off, you don't have to, but if you put this into the cooler or put it into a baggie into the cooler, now the milk that's on the part is staying cool in the cooler. You just use it again throughout the day. It'll save you time. It'll save you effort. And then when you get home, you'll rinse them hot soapy water into the dishwasher, and you're good to go. You know, make it easy on yourself.
How often should you replace the parts?
Oh, so, you know, parts like tubing, bottles, flanges really don't ever need to be replaced unless there's something wrong with them. So unless you're having issues with the pump itself, these should never really need to be replaced. But the parts that do need to be replaced are the small, soft pieces, okay? Mainly what we're talking about, and all pumps have something like this, okay? Whether it's a valve or it's a membrane. This one has a little membrane on it. I don't know if you can see it, Jamie, because I can't see myself very well. But it has this.
Enough. I can see it enough.
Yeah. So it's just that little membrane there. These things are not meant to last forever, and a good, you know, you should be replacing that minimum every 2 to 3 months. And if you're really exclusively pumping around the clock, where you are doing it every single feeding, then you may need to do it even more frequently, like once a month, because think about it, you're getting more uses out of that membrane, and it's going to wear out. These are like little, they're like nipples on a bottle. They're not meant to last forever. And so you want to be real careful with that when you wash it. You don't want to be, oh, I'm getting the echo.
You are?
I am. Can you hear me?
I can hear you fine.
Can you hear the echo?
No.
Not yet. Okay. All right. So just me.
Facebook land. Is there an echo?
Can you guys hear an echo from me? Because I can hear it all of a sudden. It just showed up in my ear. Anyway, the little membranes need to be replaced. Don't stick.
They hear it.
They hear the echo. Okay, I'm gonna unplug again. Let's try this again. What did I do last time? I unplugged this.
We started over.
Oh, I logged out. No, you stay on. I logged out.
I'll stay on.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, let's try it.
Damn echo. I'll stay here and just chat with you for a moment. She'll come back. So there we go. I hope everyone's good. I hope everyone's good today. Just hanging out with my wine and some chocolate. Oh, there you are.
Okay, can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
I still have an echo. Joe said he turned on his computer, and that's when it started.
Then turn that computer off.
Turn your computer off. Everything's off, he said. All right, let's see if I just come off of it. Huh. I'm going back out again.
Okay. So what I need you all to know is I'm currently eating this chocolate bar because I love the chocolate love, and it is a dark chocolate with raspberries in it, and it is good. And I need to get better about looking at the camera and not at the screen, because I'm sure it's real fun to look at my furrowed brow and my face pointed down. I need to look at the camera, and I'm very bad about that. If it's just me, is there an echo with just me?
Okay, can you hear me?
Uh-huh.
Still an echo.
Oh, man.
We were just getting into it too.
I know. I mean, we have been going an hour and a half.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, all right. Well,
Oh.
I don't know what to say.
Yeah, there's
All right.
no echo with me. The echo is coming from you.
It's all coming from me.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I think it had to do with Joe. We're in the same house. He turned on his computer, and for whatever
It probably
reason.
well, it's just like when you type in the caption for the video and it does that weird loop if we talk.
There's
I
some
think when
glitches
something
with this.
activates it, like.
Definitely. All right. Well, let's see if maybe you know what. Why don't you log out and I'll stay on and then I'll log back out and see if it works.
Okay.
Can I hear an echo when he turns off? See, when he's not on, I don't hear an echo. Can you hear an echo in me when he turns off his? Because I don't hear the echo. Okay.
I'm back.
I don't hear the echo anymore.
No echo?
No echo.
Great.
Who knows why that worked, but okay, wait.
Blue jeans.
All right, so the delay is on. Okay, there we go. No echo, right? Excellent. We did it. See? I don't know what happens. I think maybe it's picking up something through you too. Like, I don't know.
Deneen, it is not my fault.
We did it. Look, see, look how this is what you have to do with breastfeeding. If it doesn't work, you don't just give up the first shot, right? This is a great example of like persistence, commitment, and eventually,
Make it work.
You make it work.
Try other tactics.
Yeah, and expect that things will go wrong. Expect that things will not always go smoothly. Just like tonight, we know that things don't always go smoothly, but that doesn't mean that we don't do it, right?
And we will continue to do it.
And we will continue to do it. But I think this was great. I mean, look at what we were able to accomplish tonight. This is amazing. Oh, one more thing with storage. Can I show something else?
Yeah.
While we're at it?
Uh-huh.
I don't know how many of you guys, we've seen this before, but these are the milk storage bag adapters from Evenflo Feeding. And it's just one of my favorite things. So I want to show you how this works, okay? For all of you guys who may be pumping into storage bags, so what you do, you unscrew this off the bottle, and then you can screw this directly onto your flange. And then once it's screwed onto your flange, you can, what are you eating?
Chocolate.
The chocolate. Oh, you had to do that to me?
It's dark chocolate with raspberries in it.
No, you're distracting me. Oh. See? And we're not even near each other where I could like steal it from you. That's not fair. Joe, chocolate. All right, so this will go right onto your bag like that, and it's really, really strong, so it's going to hold, and now you can fill the milk right into the bag itself. It's strong where it's not going to come off. I mean, I'm really pulling on this. And then once you go, when the bag is actually, when you're done pumping, you just push these little buttons and it releases, and then you could just seal up your little bag here. They work great.
I had a lady comment. It was earlier today or maybe a couple days ago when I did the announcement for the Q&A. But she said her favorite thing about the bags were the little affirmations written on them, because she's like, it makes my 3 a.m. pumping sessions so much better to see like a little word of encouragement.
It's so true. I mean, like this one here says, "1 day at a time, mommy." And I mean, you do need that encouragement. It does feel overwhelming at times, you know, for something that does come natural. We all know that it can be challenging. It has its challenges. If it was easy, we wouldn't have to sit here and do these Q&As because everybody would just be fine and that would be it. But the majority of us out there do struggle. And, you know, people always say to me, oh, you know, I wish I knew you when I was breastfeeding. And I say, yeah, me too. Because I did not have an easy time breastfeeding my daughters. I have a 15-year-old. My oldest just turned 15 last week. Crazy, right? She's 15.
What?
Yeah, she's 15. I know. When we met, she was just a little girl, Jamie. So yeah, she's 15, and in just a few months, Talia will be 13, which means I will have two teenagers in just a few months.
Yay!
Poor Joe. So two teenagers, and you know, with both of them, I really struggled with breastfeeding. That was the biggest eye opener for me. Like we were talking about earlier before, you know, here I was with all this like experience as a midwife, as a nurse. I thought I knew. And then when I went to go do it myself, I really struggled. I mean, really struggled. And it was literally, it came down to when I talk about this in my classes about, you know, 2% of what I teach you, like the things we went over here today, 2% of this will be your success with breastfeeding, you know, good latch, good position. That's all important. But 98% of your success is going to come down to your confidence and your commitment to it, like not giving up and getting the support. And that really is true. When I think of my own journey, you know, I didn't just have it easy. I struggled and I have chocolate too now. Joe got me chocolate, but if I start eating it, it's caramel. I'm not going to be able to speak. So I got to sit here and stare at it now. You know, so much of it was my own journey of just like really, working through it. And that gives me also the understanding and the compassion for people who really have a hard time with it. That's why I do what I do. You know, it's not easy. It's not easy. So they grow up so fast. Like, Amy just said they grow up so fast.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they do. It's like a blink. Like literally, I feel like I blinked my eyes and they were like grown.
To me, like my twin nieces, it's like to me they are still babies. They are in first grade.
I know.
Like what the hell happened?
And it flies from here.
Oh,
it's gonna fly. I know.
Unreal.
It is unreal. But you know what? That's why you just cherish like the moments now, you know, when you think of like, okay, I'm struggling. You know, some of the biggest questions I get asked every day is like, how do I get my baby to sleep longer? I'm exhausted. I'm up all night. And my thoughts are, you know, of course, like when you're going through that, it feels like it's going to be forever. It feels like, hell on earth. I remember that sleep deprivation can really be horrible. But at the same time, just realize like it's not going to stay like that forever. Like right now, they want you, they want to be next to you. You know, babies can't be spoiled. So, babies, you know,
also don't get addicted to Snapchat like the children today.
Let's not even go there, Jamie. Let's not even go there.
They got to get on that Snapchat.
Yeah, I don't even want to talk to all these new mommies about what about how hard it is parenting teenagers these days, because it's a difficult time. Hopefully things are going to just get better. I don't know.
In 15 years from now, who knows?
Who knows? It might be completely different. We may have a whole, like, you know, going backwards with it.
Oh, so. I mean, there are things I love about social media.
Of course.
Things like this.
Of course, yeah.
But it's like every day I'm like, I wish I could just shut my personal Facebook page down.
Totally.
And I can't.
Yeah.
So it's like,
I know. I don't really look at it. I don't look at mine too much. It's funny because I work on social media all day long. Like that's all I do, you know, and yet I do it for this, I'm mostly on here talking to my audience, to the moms that, are with me, whether it's in my private group of students or on my page. And that's where I feel happy with social media, and I try to stay there. It's a very positive community, and just like yours, which is why I love doing this with you, because you have such amazing people.
Oh, I am very aware of that.
You really?
I'm very aware.
Yeah.
Of the audience. Yes.
Well, it's a must, because like we're talking about things that are, people are vulnerable. We want to feel that it's a safe space. We're having this conversation. And the internet can be a really not safe space. Where people really are very judgmental, and we don't want that for either of our audiences.
And it's like how I treat my Facebook is like, I've had to ban people. Like, it happens. I don't like to do it. But if you're going to be nasty, you're done. I'm more than open to discussion and ideas and whatever. But the second you attack me or another person commenting, that's like, my Facebook page is my house. Don't come into my house.
Yeah.
Disrespect me or my guests.
That's right.
Because I will throw you out.
You will be gone. You will be gone. Were there any other questions that we wanted to answer tonight? How do they win the pump, Jamie?
Just by commenting. Make sure you like this. Make sure you commented below. And a lot of you have. There's a lot going on. So, we're giving a pump away. We give a pump at every Q&A. But to me, it's not just about like we're giving something away. It's like information.
Yeah, it's definitely. And the classes are there too. If you guys need classes, they're part of the pump. They're part of the giveaway. And they're also available on my website if you need education. Or if you just want to, learn about different topics, we're doing that right now. And I have a feeling Jamie and I are going to be doing a lot more topics like this now that we have figured out the solution.
Yeah.
Because this went really well tonight. Did you guys enjoy this? Did you? No. I mean, this, with the exception of the echo.
A couple technical glitches.
No, but you know what? It's like one of those things where when you got those little imperfections, it really reflects like on all the good stuff that went on tonight. And I feel like
Patty just said, I love that you treat us as real people and not just unseen, faceless, random stuff.
Oh no.
I mean, when I meet people at events, people who are very engaged, I typically remember names and profile photos. So who you are, like that, I retain that stuff. My Facebook audience and whatever, it's not just like numbers to me. I take that.
Totally. I mean, lately I've had a lot of new people echo. Did you go on the computer again?
No.
He's like, hands up. He's like, I didn't do anything. Yeah.
Let me leave for a second, and we'll see if that fixes it.
Okay, go ahead.
I don't even have my other devices on.
Go ahead. Me neither. Go ahead. Let's see if that fixes it. Oh yeah, no echo as soon as he gets off. So it's something, Jamie's causing it, all right? We need to let him know. It's his fault. It's Jamie's fault. Joe's like, I'll be the fall guy. You want to say hi? Here, Joe's going to come say hi.
I'll be your fall guy, Jamie. Hi, everyone.
Hi. This is Joe.
Uh-oh.
Lost my screen. Yeah, as soon as you got off, there was no echo.
Is there an echo now?
There's no echo now.
Okay.
There you go. All right, so we know what to do. At least we know what to do, right?
Going deep into OT. Much respect to those still here.
Oh, I was starting to say that, everybody who watches, I mean, we don't see you guys as just names here on the screen. I feel connected. I mean, we've had a lot of new people join my Facebook page recently, like just a lot of new people showing up for the live streams. And I literally can tell when people are new because I know the names and I
Yeah.
feel like I know everybody. And when we see people at events, it's like I just want to hug them.
Hmm.
Like how exciting.
I have a follower from Canada.
Uh-huh.
He's been following me for a long time. Super engaged. Came to Agirapalooza even though she wasn't pregnant. Um, they were struggling with fertility things. And the other night I was watching This Is Us, and I put up like a post about it, whatever.
I love that show. I love that show.
It's the best. And she was like, I've been trying to catch you live or something so I could tell you, but look at my profile photo. And it's her pregnancy announcement.
Aww.
And I lost it.
Yeah.
Like I started crying on my couch because it's like, if my Facebook audience was just like random people, I would not be doing this.
No.
No.
No. Well, I don't think that we could do what we do the way we do it if it wasn't like, authentically happy to see everybody. I mean, I know everybody comes on to watch us and, hear the stuff that we're offering, but I got to say that, coming on to see all of them learning and sharing about their babies and about their lives, I'm getting as much out of it as they are from, I'm eating M&Ms.
Live your life. Come on.
Thank you so much, Jamie. Thank you so much.
And I got my schedule backwards, and I was getting everything ready for something I have coming up this week. I thought it was tomorrow, and it's not. So now I'm just like, I went and assembled and played with a high chair.
Tomorrow?
I get high chairs in the mail. So.
Did you have an announcement or no?
Tomorrow.
Awesome. Yeah, I have some other people. Jillian just said, Kate, we kind of stalk. It's good kind of stalking, guys. It's good kind of stalking.
Yes, Elise, I can't eat my ice cream tomorrow. Somebody, any Alaska trips? Not planned this year, but I've never been to Alaska. Alaska and Hawaii are my last two states, and then I've hit all 50.
I did Alaska with Joe. Right before we got married, we went on an Alaska cruise.
Yeah.
It was awesome. Really different. Loved it. We did glacier trekking.
Oh, cool.
Where you put the crampons on your feet, with the spikes, and they take you up on a helicopter and drop you on the middle of a glacier. It was crazy cool. I mean,
that's awesome.
Yeah, you feel like you literally feel like you're on the moon. It's amazing.
Somebody asked, what do I do with all the products I sample and try out? Right now, I'm very fortunate in that one of the ladies that works in my office downstairs just had a baby. So I give her a lot of stuff because they are very patient with me here in this building regarding all the shipments I get. So they deal with a lot of boxes. So as my payback, I've given her diaper bags, bouncers, car seats. I'm like, take it. Because in New York, I had a lot of friends who had kids and whatever, so I could just give all the stuff away. Here, I'm still meeting people. So,
I'm sure they're very happy to be living in your building. I'm sure they're quite happy to be living in your building with you.
Oh, yeah. And there's a mom who lives in my building, and I think her son is like 6 or 7 months old. So I have her number in my phone when I have something that might apply to her. So nice. Yeah.
So nice.
It's just hard because you can't donate a lot of stuff. Once I'm done with it, I can't donate. So it's tricky.
Yeah, you got to find people who need them.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's what a lot of people don't understand. There are stipulations to donating stuff openly. So
yeah,
I had like a bunch of brand new car seats I've never used, but.
And you can't donate those?
No.
Wow. Yeah, that stinks. That's a waste.
In theory, I could, but there are some charities that will not take them. It's also from my standpoint, even though I know the seat is perfectly fine and everything is great.
Right.
God forbid something happened, you know. So.
Well, a lot of people don't realize that you shouldn't use any used car seats. So if you don't know where they've been, but I know you talk about that quite a bit. Is there any other breastfeeding questions that we want to go over? Is there anything else that people want to know that we can answer for them, or just any other questions? I really like being able to look at you.
I know. I just got so sidetracked. I was like, I'm just sitting here having chocolate and Skyping.
Well, that's what it is. Doesn't it feel like that?
It feels like I'm just like on the phone with you Skyping or something.
I know. And we do this like when we're not broadcasting, so it feels like just a regular conversation that you and I would have.
Yeah.
Right?
This is what we talk about.
Well, there's other things we talk about that we won't talk about right now. There is other things. And you know what, one of the things that Jamie said when we first started was this platform, obviously we're just starting it right now. I'm gonna get proficient with this so that we know how to use it really well. And as you saw, like, we can show little videos, we can do we can share screens so that we can do teaching some classes with it, but it also has the ability where you guys can log in and raise your hand and actually ask your question on camera. So we're definitely going to have to plan some of that out for next time, so that you guys can get on here with us. That would be fun. Right?
Yeah. I think it'd be fun to be able to. And how many windows? It was like 6 or 9, right?
You could have up to 9. You could have up to 9 people at one time. So it would be like us and 7 friends.
Yeah.
And 7 other friends, and then it shows it in like a Brady Bunch. Yeah, like a Brady Bunch grid where we'd all be on there, or whoever's speaking, it takes over the screen.
Yeah.
I'm just glad we figured out the side by side, because last time we didn't know how to do that.
No.
Right? And this worked out really well.
Yeah, the side by side is awesome.
Yeah. This was good. Did you guys didn't feel like we weren't together? It felt very similar to what we normally do.
I was worried it was going to feel like disconnected and whatever.
It doesn't.
This was great.
It doesn't at all, right?
No.
I know. It's kind of crazy.
Technology.
It's so kind of, yeah. Well, yeah.
Well, I think we're good here.
I'm good.
We did almost 2 hours solid.
Yeah, it's a long time. That's a long time. And everybody's still on, and we're still here with everybody. So Amanda said, baby's crying. I guess it's close to the 2-hour mark. Yeah, it's time to feed, Amanda.
Videos so you can all enjoy my tired mama face.
Uh-huh.
And that's fine.
It's okay. I got a tired mama face.
I'm happy I tried to shower today.
You tried to shower, or you did?
No,
shower?
I did. But that's only because I had to go to a meeting about something. So.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Well, anybody who left questions, I'm going to be streaming a lot this week. I got a bunch of them scheduled. So Wednesday night is the Calming Your Fussy Baby over on my page. And then I think Friday night we're going to do breastfeeding Q&A. So if you left questions and they didn't get answered, I didn't get to see all of them. And I know there's always so many there. You can post them here, post them on my page, and I'll try to answer some of them on Friday too. And maybe we could do this again sooner.
Yeah. I'm game.
Let's do a topic show. Let's do another topic show, like just something else too.
We'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out. Sounds good. All right, so time to say goodnight.
Yeah.
You complete? Are you complete? Is everybody complete?
And you can go back and rewatch this video. It will live on Facebook. So go back, rewatch, get tips you missed.
Definitely.
Yeah.
All right.
Hooray.
Love you. Love you. Thank you, guys.
January.
Yay! January's done. We did it. Good night, everybody. We'll see you soon.
Thank you all for hanging out.
Thank you. And thank you, Evenflo Feeding,
Yes.
for being the best ever and for the amazing prize and for doing so much good for so many mommies and babies and daddies and everyone and for the world.
Yeah.
We love you.
Truth. Love.
Okay, I'm hanging up here.
Are you going to stop the broadcast or do you want me to?
I'm stopping it right now. Bye.
Bye.